Mumbai ground, Victor Tango, Sierra Number India, readability check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read?
Victor Tango Sierra November India Mumbai ground radio 5. How do you read?
Read U5, strength 5, Victor Tango, Sierra Number India.
Roger Mumbai ground. All stations, Mumbai ground, kindly carry out the readability check.
Mumbai ground, Victor Tango Delta Papa Romeo, readability check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read?
Victor Tango Delta Papa Romeo Mumbai ground radio 5. How do you read?
Read U5, strength 5, Victor Tango Delta Papa Romeo.
Mumbai ground, Victor Tango Alpha Delta, 1121.4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read?
Victor Tango Alpha Delta Mumbai ground radio 5. How do you read?
Read U5, strength 5, Victor Tango Alpha Delta.
Mumbai ground, Victor Tango Alpha 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read?
Victor Tango Alpha Mumbai ground radio 5. Primary 767574. Standby for secondary.
Primary 7574, standing by for secondary, Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Alpha.
Negative, I say again, primary 757476, Mumbai ground.
Primary 757476, secondary standby, Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Alpha.
Victor Tango Romeo Uniform Delta, Mumbai ground.
Go ahead, Victor Tango, Romeo Uniform Delta.
Victor Tango Romeo Uniform Delta, Mumbai ground.
Mumbai ground, Victor Tango, Romeo Uniform Delta, reading check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read?
Victor Tango Romeo Uniform Delta, Mumbai ground, radio 5. How do you read?
Read U5, Victor Tango, Romeo Uniform Delta.
Everybody make a note. The check that we have done, it's a readability check. Okay, readability check. every live session, first few minutes you'll get a chance to imagine that you're in an actual ATC environment where you can hear each other, and that's how you will sense the presence of your air traffic controllers that you will talk to on a daily basis when you're working as a commercial pilot or doing checks as an engineer. RT exams these days are very much simulated to give a feel of a real ATC environment. Students who have appeared it once, twice, you must know the efforts that they have taken. How difficult is RT or how easy is RT? These questions depend upon a lot of factors. Even after having studied and practiced, sometimes we don't clear. Sometimes we clear with 80% of preparation also, 70% of preparation also. Sometimes we do more than 100% and clear the exams. Why does this variation happen in different experiences? It all depends upon the performance on the day of the exam, how good it was. So always make a habit of getting comfortable just by listening, and definitely it's a study session, so you can see your instructor. But in exams, you'll not be able to see them. But you will be aware of people. You will be aware, okay, there's one examiner, there's somebody who's going to evaluate. The examiner would be your air traffic controller, like I am right now. So all calls for all air traffic controllers will be made to the same examiner. Then there will be one or two people simulating live traffic as well, trying to simulate a realistic experience. They don't really have push to talk, but anytime they could invent some upgrade or they could introduce some upgrade in the examination. And students appearing for the upcoming sessions could be the first people to go through that upgrade or go through that change. So today we are starting with a series of sessions to help students appear and clear for the August sessions. But each and every session in general is also going to be applicable to everyone who wants to learn and clear RT exams. Readability check is one of the most common checks that you will be doing. But other than these basic checks, your calls related to ATC would be directly in proportion with all the different operations and segments of your operations as a pilot. What are these segments? These segments start from reporting to duty. They involve you going through a pre-flight briefing before you actually go to the aerodrome or go to the live area of the aerodrome. And then once you reach the aerodrome, once you reach the aircraft, you'll be doing a walk around. And then you'll be doing cockpit checks. These are all parts of your operational performance as a CPL holder or as a co-pilot or a PIC or a trainee pilot. Students who have done their CPL training on small aircrafts, on who have achieved their multi-engine and instrument rating, you already have an idea about some of the operations as conducted in your airfield and during your training phase. You already might also know what kind of calls, what is the RT experience like, what are the issues faced in RT. So that knowledge can always help you in some or the other way. But that being said, we have to be careful about how we are preparing for DGCA RT exams, because many flying aerodromes in many countries They're very informal during training compared to the formal requirements by the DGCA exams. We have had pilots who have flown for 10 years, 15 years, who are also giving the exams as same as you, who want to renew their licenses. And they also have to ensure that they have covered all fundamentals. They are not risking it because becoming a pilot is not just about flying, but it's also about maintaining the validity of your medicals and your licenses. Otherwise, your flying will stop. It's a very busy life, and live RT is very fast. And I don't know if you have heard any recordings or seen any videos, but someone somewhere must have heard how fast they are. When we are practicing RT, it's not easy to get that fast. So, in your exams, your examiners, either from an ATC background, either from examination background, or either from uh, some of the other relation that they have had in their past, it is going to be reflected in the exam. So they might be as fast as real live ATC. And that's where, if it's your first or second attempt, you should not be nervous, and you should have a strategy for the same. Strategies in preparation include mock sessions. Now, we have seen some students who don't get enough mocks are not able to clear exams. But it's not a compulsion. But yeah, practice is always good. So you can always try that in your mock sessions or whatever calls that I make you practice in class. You can try different rates of speech and see what is comfortable. You can initially get started with a slow rate of speech, then increase it to a medium rate of speech, and then try and communicate fast. Speaking fast can become an issue if you are not able to understand what the air traffic controller is saying. So you have to focus on keywords and you have to really do a lot of multitasking even in exam. As a pilot, you have 100 different things to observe as well as communications. And still it is the safest mode of transport. So if you would be doing it in future as a PIC or a co-pilot, then you have to imagine that, or you have to believe that you can do it in the exam as well. Initial hesitations aside, initial mistakes aside, you need to have a lot of confidence. Your presence of mind is going to give you a lot of suggestions that would be real answers to situations given in the examination. So you have to follow the language protocols and you have to follow the rules of the air protocols, and then you have to also follow logical reasoning and situational awareness. A combination of all three really helps you in your practical exams and also in written exams where you have questions that are a little tricky or have layers. Layers, as in, you could get a question in your written exam asking about frequency given a wavelength. But that wavelength would not be in meters, it could be in centimeters. And the options given to you for frequency could be in a different unit. So we have to be very aware that, okay, I'm not just blindly making a calculation. But I'm also applying logic to see if there's anything that I'm missing. Students, are we all there? RT phraseology includes one of the important terms called acknowledge. Can someone give me the answer? What is the answer to acknowledge? The answers that we are seeking are coming in written exam and practical exam as to giving the exact definition of a particular RT word or phrase. It has to be by the manual, it has to be verbatim. So students, you can raise your hands. If you know the answer, there's a feature called reactions. react. And you can also use verbal acknowledgement, saying Roger and ending with the call sign. You can say affirm and end with your call sign. You can say Wilco and end with your call sign. Also, you can give me real-time chats. But you have to acknowledge so I know that each and every student is following and learning. So can I get an acknowledgement individually by everyone? Anyone who wants to go first will go first. First come, first serve. If Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Delta is transmitting, then others will wait till he or she has completed their call, and then you will talk. I need a lot of activity in our live session so that we do a lot of practice during a discussion and study session.
Sir, we have to tell what is acknowledged, right?
Yes. And right now, to give me answers, you can refer your books, you can refer your manuals, you can extract answers, study and give both at the same time.
Sir, can I?
Yeah. This makes it much more easy. Click on React and click raise hand like this. Okay. Try it. Try these tools. Yes. So Adesh is attentive because his video is also on. How about Dev, Rudar, Shabrish, and Divija? Victor Tango, Victor, Victor, Romeo, Mumbai ground. How do you read?
Mumbai ground, Victor Tango, Victor, Victor Romeo, radio 5. How do you read?
Victor Tango, Victor, Victor, Romeo, Mumbai ground. Read you 5. So we have a question. I will say the question again. I need the answer for the meaning of acknowledge verbatim. Remember, this question can come in your written exam. This question can come in your practical exam. Today's session's first part, I'm going to give you general instructions. There are some students who are preparing for written exam. And second part of today's session, we'll be doing a practical mock session for one of the stations present in class. Students who are going to give practical exam, you have to really focus, observe and learn because you will be next giving the practical exam. Students who are giving written exams, just for a couple of sessions, I'm inviting you to these sessions so that you can discuss your doubts. After that, you prepare for your written exam as per the instructions. Do a lot of reading, studying as much as you can. And yeah, then once you clear your written exam, then you will be giving your practice exams, joining live sessions for practical. So students are going to prepare for the written exam. You can start applying. 19th is the date, starting date for exams this session. And stay at the portal. It's very slow, but it will pick up. So you keep trying to apply because uh, if you are patient, then you'll be able to apply. That's the status right now. Otherwise, it's a little slow, a little difficult, the portal presently. Nobody else other than Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Delta, nobody else knows the answer for acknowledge.
So, can I guess?
Please raise your hand, students. I'll tell you. Let me see if you're making an effort. And anything that you're saying on radio, especially if your video is off, please end with your call sign. Remember, that's a must for our live calls as well, realistic calls as well. So I think that was Vivan. So Vivan, you asked, can I give Victor Tango, Victor, Victor, Romeo? Also, you can assign yourself any airline call sign for practice. You can rename yourself on Zoom and I'll pick up directly and I'll communicate with you like that. just for having versatility in your call signs. Victor Tango Delta Papa Romeo, are you following? Kindly acknowledge.
Alpha Victor Tango Delta Papa.
Divija, anything that I ask, you will try to increase your rate of speech and talk. And yeah, when it comes to accent, because we have practiced a lot, we can try to have a neutral accent, at least for RT call students. Like when we are trying, we can try all combinations. It's not an issue because the way RT is designed, if we speak it clearly, then different accents will not make an issue. In India, we all are well versed with different accents, they all sound similar. But when you fly international, you'll experience a lot of difficulties in understanding RT. Okay, Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Alpha, give me the answer. What is acknowledge?
So basically, it's a read back that I got your message, and yeah, I am. Yeah, I got your message, and I.
Students, keep an open book. Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Delta.
Acknowledge means to let the person transporting know that we have received and understood their message. Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Delta.
Focus on what I have said. I'll repeat again. The answers to physiology questions have to be verbatim as per the manual in exact words. Victor Tango Sierra November India.
Acknowledge means let me know that you have received and understood this message.
Is this verbatim?
Yeah, it's directly from the book.
And which book?
Your book 12 that you have provided in the drive.
Is it a doc? Is it rules of the air?
It's doc
Is it manual of RT?
from so manual of radio telephone.
Okay, good. There are multiple places, students. There are three books, three places where you'll get definitions. So you have to follow DGCA CARs and you'll follow ICAO docs and uh, annexures. Okay. We have a lot of, we have almost all of these available on our Google Drive for you to access. So correct answer. Can anybody verify if Victor Tango Sierra November India has given me the correct answer?
Yes, sir, verified. Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Delta.
Now that was too fast to end your call sign. Ensure even if we are fast, we are clear with each word and each syllable, each letter. That should not be compromised. So first we'll practice clarity and only then we'll increase our rate of speech. So I know it's Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Delta, but I had to make a guess. So be clear, end it clearly.
Roger. Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Delta.
Hmm. I'm going to give you 5 phrases. Quickly, you have to prepare answers and submit, or you can give me verbal answers, but all will happen in one go. So I'll give you a few seconds to prepare. First, try to recall it from memory, and I would suggest you write it down either in chat or your notes. A chat would be great, I could see it in real time. Or you can just write it in your notes and then open the book, compare, and be ready to answer. Even if you're not ready, I'll call out your call sign. Okay? Do not take phraseology for granted. For written exam, also do your abbreviations. Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Delta, the Q code. What was the Q code for reading 0 and not having that reading 0 directly stated in your options?
The question I sent you as a doubt,
The Q code. Focus on what I'm saying, students. Don't miss out on anything I'm saying. What was the Q code in that question? Yes.
QFE, sir.
Q F E. Students, make a note of these Q codes: QFE, QNE, QNH. Different places, the definitions are different, but the correct answer would just be the same. Make a note of it. For RT practical exam, one of the Q codes could be given to you, or you could ask during climb, initial climb after departure, or during final descent before you uh, prepare for final arrival procedures. So there's something called transition altitude. QNE, QNH, and QFE. Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Delta. Just remind me again, was it QFE or QNH?
QFE, Quebec Foxtrot Echo.
Correct. Okay. I hope this much time is enough. The first abbreviation, correction, the first phraseology is cancel. Affirm. Check. Monitor. Enable. Best way to answer would be to drop your answers in your Zoom chat. And verbally, I'll ask, you'll have to give me all verbatim. Try to use it from memory. Otherwise, open book and give me answer, because we are learning right now. So I would still want you to learn even if you know half of the answer. Cancel, affirm, check, monitor, Wilco. Correction, enable. Enable and Wilco can be considered as opposites of each other. Victor Tango, Victor, Victor, Romeo. Can you answer?
So for the first question, cancel, it will be annul the previously transmitted message. For affirm, it will be yes. For monitor, it will be listen out on. And for enable, uh, uh, I don't remember the enable one.
Can you say again the answer for cancel?
So it will be annul the previously transmitted message.
Is it message? Is it something else?
Uh, I have to check.
So the instructions are clear.
Clearance.
Please look into the books
Clearance.
and supplement your answer. The one that you could not recall, study it and then be ready to answer. Anyone who thinks they're ready to give me verbal answers without looking at the book will definitely raise their hands. Victor Tango Romeo Uniform Delta. Cancel, affirm, check, monitor, enable.
First, annul the previous transmission. Second, yes. Third, examine the procedure or system. Fourth, listen out on the frequency. Fifth, I cannot comply with the instruction. Victor Tango Romeo Uniform Delta.
Cannot comply. Comply. Cannot
Enable
comply.
is I cannot comply with your request, instruction, or clearance.
Your request. With your request. Instruction.
Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Delta, can you try and answer what is readback?
Readback is giving the exact.
No, verbatim answers. If not, you'll open your book and be ready. Until the day of your exams, at least have your manual PDF easily available on your phones and other systems that you spend time upon. Victor Tango Delta Papa Romeo, can you give me the answer for say again?
Repeat all of the following part of your last transmission.
And please end your calls or answers with your call sign, students.
Victor Tango Delta Papa Romeo.
Victor Tango Alpha 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 negative.
Negative is used basically to say no, I guess.
What are the instructions? Can we follow them and try and give an accurate answer looking at the book? No answer starts with. So negative is no or permission not granted or that is not correct or not capable. So this is the kind of answers I am expecting. Students, for written exam, you have to be aware. Phraseology, you have to master it this way. And for practical exam also. This is how you start preparing for your exams. So Vivan, you joined a little late, so I'll just summarize what I said earlier. So students are going to give written exams. You have to read as much as you can. The syllabus that we have and extra reading topics, both. I will invite you for a few live sessions just for doubts and for anything if that's there for me to guide. Other than that, you don't have to attend the other live sessions when we will be doing practical part. You can invest that time to study for your written exam. We will do your practicals when you are done with your written exam. So initial this week, maybe I'll invite you for 2 or 3 more lectures. After that, you'll be busy doing your written exams, and every day I'll need your update, morning and end of the day. And I would want to know if you have studied new topics, if you have doubts, if you need any assistance. Anything could be asked to you, things that you might not have religiously studied. So how to be ready to give an MCQ based answer on that question? A little bit of reading and understanding of principles will be enough. So there are a lot of short write-ups that we have saved as text messages that could also be shared with you. So students who will be appearing for written exam after this session, you will drop me a message. And students who will be appearing for practical exam after this session, you will be dropping me a message. The date of exam, whether you have applied or not, confirm date of exams. Make it a habit to follow after each lecture. Okay. Students who are not planning to give any exam, you'll just message sir, not yet starting or going through studies, will apply maybe once done with our studies. But everybody has to acknowledge. Victor Tango, Alpha, Alpha, Delta. Yes, read back.
The readback is repeat all or specified part of this message back to me exactly as received.
Yes. This is exactly how you have to memorize these phrases, okay?
Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Delta.
Very good. You could say Wilco, affirm, Roger. Best would be affirm, Wilco, or Wilco in this case. Okay, let's discuss some questions. Let's discuss some questions. Anybody has any doubts? You can text your doubts or you can just verbally ask. After that, we'll take a break and we'll start with the mock practice exam. Today, Victor Tango Sierra November India is going to give us a practice exam. Students who want to observe can observe. Written exam students, you can take a leave after the break, or maybe you can just observe one mock and then afterwards you can skip. Because you have been studying for RT, so I'm not worried. But yeah, I would want you to invest time and not take it for granted. And students who will be giving practical exam, definitely you have to stay because we'll have a lot of discussions that will help you and we'll also then answer questions based upon your personal doubts. And then I will share schedule for next practice exams. Shall share the sequence. Victor Tango Sierra November India, Victor Tango Romeo Uniform Delta, and then Victor Tango Delta Papa Romeo. So this is how the next three mocks would be. Romeo Uniform Delta and Delta Papa November will not do your mock today, but mostly tomorrow. Victor Tango Delta Papa Romeo, I'll give you a 15-minute practice for first 5 questions. And Romeo Uniform Delta, you will also first give me 15-minute practice for first 5 sessions. Adish, you can discuss a few questions relevant, you think they are relevant to your written exam and check them out. If you are parking them, then mark parked. I want each student to ask at least 2 questions. At least 2. 3. Nobody is going to be quiet. Be ready. Victor Tango Romeo Uniform Delta, you had shared couple of questions on chat. You could ask those. And if you don't have any question on your own, then you can ask a competitive question and see if your peers in the class could answer.
Sir, can I ask?
Are they standby? I hope everybody is following. Can I get an acknowledgement, students? I know Adesh is following. Victor November India has acknowledged. Victor Uniform Delta has acknowledged. Victor Alpha Alpha has acknowledged. How about Victor Victor Romeo? Okay, Victor Papa Romeo has acknowledged. Good. So what am I doing now? There is something that we can do, students, with the call sign. What is that something? We can reduce a 5 to 7 letter call sign to a shorter 3 letter call sign where we have to mention at least the first letter and at least the last two letters. This is something that can happen in your exams. So today is the first time when I have actually used shorter call signs in our classroom. So if you did not realize that I your call sign, so now is the chance to be aware about air traffic controller calling you with a shorter call sign. All these important elements that we call fundamentals for RT are covered in just 2 pages of the ATC manual. I'll also share the ATC manual with you from a perspective of air traffic controller. What they would be expecting from you comes from that part. Each paragraph, each line is very important, but it is all just covered in 2 pages. So these points about my call sign, reduction in call sign, if I have Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, minimum reduction that I could do is take the first letter and at least last two letters. So Victor Lima Kilo. So it becomes Victor Lima Kilo. The only issue that I personally have with this strategy is this. If I have two aircrafts with different call signs, and if they are at the aerodrome at the same time, and if they both reduce their call sign, then it becomes the same call sign, which could cause communication errors. So ATC will be careful to not use shorter call signs if similar call signs are there. You also always be on alert, not just with what ATC tells you, but also with what the other aircrafts are talking to ATC about. What is their call sign? Who's saying what? You have to be super aware of everything happening around you. Students, you can write down your doubts on chat. Adesh, you can just keep it parked in chat until then. We have one question on chat. How to say flight level 100? Now, this again can be a part of written exam, and it can be a part of, it is definitely a part of practical exam. So before I say flight level 100 or flight level 100, we need to talk about numbers. All numbers in RT will be said individually. Numbers exist from 0 to 9er. And if I have a number that is 1 to 5, which is 125, then it will be read out as 1 to 5. There are certain elements that have numerical values. There are directions, there are distances, there are frequencies, there are altitudes. When we talk about altitude, altitude is reported in thousands of feet. And another way to determine altitude is in terms of flight level. When I say flight level, it doesn't just become altitude, it becomes pressure altitude. There will be slight difference in your actual altitude and your pressure altitude or your flight level because of the variations of the ground surface below, variations in terms of their elevation, in terms of their height above mean sea level. So flight level is reported after crossing transition altitude. And altitude is reported below transition altitude. See, I'm mentioning below. It means below. You could get a question in your written exam which says what is the minimum transition altitude in India. Anybody who knows the answer to this, please mention in the group chat. Sorry, Zoom chat with your host. So in certain areas, it could be 4,000, 4,500, 5,000. Now see the difference, 4,500. This way of reporting is allowed only for a few elements. One of them is altitude. Then we have RVR and then we have cloud height. So when we talk about numbers, altitude and flight level both have different ways of reporting. Altitude can be said 1 followed by 1,000, 1,500 can be said as 1,500. 2,700 can be said as 2,700. You don't even have to say feet. Same goes for RVR, which is in meters, and cloud height. The terms used are whole hundreds and whole thousands. When it comes to flight level 100, when converted into altitude, actually means 10,000 feet. 10 is not a number in RT because we only have 0 to 9er. So 10 will be read out as 10 followed by 1,000. But this is not how you will report flight level. This is the meaning of flight level when converted into feet. To read flight levels, when I say read, it means spoken RT, read out, readability. When I have to speak flight level, I'll say flight level 100. This is in contradiction to a statement given in manuals where it is said that flight level numbers will be read individually, which is true. Which is true for examples flight level 110, flight level 120, flight level 130, flight level 135, flight level 165, and so on. Flight level 195, flight level 200. The difference is in the types of manual, and ATCs have chosen to use the version where it says when you have flight levels in whole hundreds, you have to say it out in 100. Now you might get one examiner who's different from others and who might expect flight level 100, but that will not be highly probable because live air traffic controllers say flight level 100, flight level 200, but it is in contrast with most of the manuals. But you have to follow this. So you'll only possibly have for commercial aviation, you will only possibly have up to flight level 300 and flight level 400. Flight level 500, a commercial jetliner will not be crossing. Our limit will be up to flight level 460. So flight level 300. This question is asked in written exams also and in practical exams also. Practical exams, it will be useful if you have to report your flight levels. Rest all flight levels will be set out individually. Flight level 110, flight level 195, flight level 2701 example will take here. Flight level 335. Please get it into your systems. Please not let the same confusion arise again. Because we have discussed this quite often in mock sessions also that students attend and in study sessions also. So let's make sure whatever we are learning I've got only one student answering minimum flight level, minimum transition altitude in India is 4000 feet. Students, बाकी लोग क्यों नहीं आंसर दे रहे हैं? I'm expecting your answers in the chat box. Students, you have to also go through definitions, okay? Like regulations and a radio technical knowledge, both will be there in your written exam. Victor Tango Alpha 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 Delta Papa Romeo Romeo Uniform Delta Sierra November India Victor Victor Romeo. At least acknowledge saying, sir, I don't know the minimum transition altitude in India, or maybe I guess. See, everybody has to answer. Everybody has to answer two questions. I've only got two messages. We have a question. Sir, you shared a few documents which had simple articles, sample articles. In that, there was a call that aircraft is already on ILS approach, and suddenly cabin crew is sick. We had to take action. For that, the sample call says aircraft requested visual approach, cancelling ILS approach. Why? Students, share your thoughts. Why do you think a pilot would have done that? A plane is established on ILS. One of the cabin crew falls sick during approach. And in a sample call, the pilot has requested for visual approach, cancelling ILS approach. So one of the students is asking why. Victor Tango correction, Victor Tango Romeo Uniform Delta. What do you think? Rudar, you are on mute.
Sir, I don't have any idea.
Think, make a guess. I'll come back to you. Think, make a guess. Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Alpha.
I guess to shorter the time of landing.
That could be one of the things to make sure that we arrive faster. That makes sense. Delta Papa Romeo. Everyone is on mute, students. Please ensure you press your space bar or go on unmute to answer. Victor Tango Delta Papa Romeo.
I guess it will be because visual will be faster.
So we can understand that it is time sensitive issue. So probably that is the reason the pilot chose. Makes sense so far. Thank you for your inputs. Victor Tango Sierra November India.
So no idea.
I know no idea, but try to make a guess. Complete the statement. Like, so no idea, but maybe because of this.
So maybe because it may be faster. I don't know which one is faster though. I just could be more like easier, right?
Okay, more easier, maybe more faster. Victor Victor Romeo.
I'm not sure. Maybe workload increases in ILS.
Okay, workload increasing in ILS. Again, it could be indirectly, this statement workload could be related to time. Again, more workload could be more complications, more time required. Adesh, what do you think?
Sir, I initially thought that it would be time constrained, but visual approach has more chances of a missed approach, that if the pilot flares too early or flares too late, or if due to some visual reasons they have to go around, then it would be bad, right? So ILS would be more precise. They would land in first go. So anyways, the aircraft is on finals and is about to land. So why risk a landing?
See, one thing we should make clear that it's not risky if approved. Visual approach is not risky if approved. It is risky when visibility is less because the alignment with the runway center line could be a little difficult. But the same could also happen when flying ILS because the ILS doesn't control the aircraft to maintain on the same line. The aircraft is still controlled by the pilot. It's just that a pilot has a visual representation of the center line in the cockpit that the pilot tries to align using your control column and just trying to keep the aircraft with rudder and ailerons or however they would be doing it just by maintaining the center line. The same a pilot does for visual approach. So if it is approved, then it is not risky at all. Uh, if it is not approved, it means it could be a visibility restriction because of which there will be risk involved. So pilots would avoid doing visual approach and would prefer ILS approach, especially when visibility is less. In this case, it is a pilot's choice. A lot of things will depend upon the flight plan and the situation that happened before and the situation that happened before the particular question in the exam. So probably we think more, we think about the connecting dots. It could be that ILS approach, they were number two, number three, number four. Maybe ILS was not working and they were given hold for some time. And now that they have a medical emergency, they are saying, okay, maybe the system is not working. Maybe we are number two, number three, number four, but now we need priority. So we would try and make a visual approach directly instead of going through that segment or the sector which we cannot, where we cannot overtake certain aircrafts before us. So maybe that is why visual approach was more sensible here. So we have to always think about what would have happened first, what would also happen, something that might not be mentioned in these examples of calls list, because we don't know the exact question, we don't know the exact flight plan. Although I have a book which has all the question papers in sequence, which are from the old exam pattern, so that would definitely share some light on the connection. But you don't need to worry because these calls are just for example. But now, when we think about this situation, definitely something to do with we not getting either ILS approval. If we are on finals on ILS, Runway in sight, visual approach, it means we are not relying on the system, we are just making a visual approach, nothing else. So there could be some hint, some question somewhere given where it would make more sense for the pilot to do it. Otherwise, it's just a PIC what a PIC does, thinking this is the safest option for the aircraft, which is always the final call.
Roger, Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Delta.
Students, I want to make one thing clear that whatever we think, whatever we discuss, anytime when you get more information on the same, or if you get different information than discussed, then always share that with me at that point in time when you get it. And we'll continue from there. I'll tell you why the difference exists. I'll tell you what to follow. Maybe you have something better that you have received. If I think that is nice, then I'll say that, okay, you go with that. But always keep me in loop about these things.
Sir, one more question. Can I ask?
Yeah, can you put it in the chat box so we'll have a history?
Fun.
Students, Adev, Rudher, Shabrish, please, questions. I told 2 questions each. Come on, live session has to be interactive. ऐसे लग रहा है सिर्फ आदेश पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं और कोई नहीं कर रहा है. Vivan, no questions. It's
Sir,
been so long since we have discussed doubts.
sir, a doubt. It's regarding a practical exam.
Uh-huh.
So, if the ATC is speaking faster, we will say to them that speak slower. And the information they gave, so should we say like speak slower, say again, or just speak slower to repeat the information?
So if somebody says something which you could not note down properly because they were fast, then how do you give a call to that situation? You say W1. There are 2 ways. Either you would just raise them, like say Victor Tango Alpha Alpha uniform, Victor Tango Victor Victor Romeo. Read you to speak slower, say again all. Because this is a transmission issue, because there's a transmission issue, so we re-establish everything and we also speak slower. Or we could simply say read you 2 or read you 3, readable but with difficulty. Read you 3, speak slower, say again after certain flight level or whatever, or read you 3, say again all, Victor Tango Alpha Alpha uniform. But mention the readability, then say speak slower, and then say again all, or say again a part of that message. Does that answer your question?
Affirm, sir.
Okay, let's practice that. So I'm saying something, think that you couldn't hear it, and give me a reply. Victor Tango Sierra November India, Mumbai Control, report reaching flight level 350, rate of climb 1500 feet per minute or more.
Mumbai ground, Victor Tango, Sierra November India, radio 3, speak slower, say again after flight level 350.
Try the other way. Just start with the readback or information and ending with your call sign.
Radio 3, speak slower, say again all, Victor Tango, Sierra November India.
This is what would be sounding better in the exam.
Affirm, sir.
Dev, please one question. Rudar, please one question. Vivan, I need questions. I told you if you don't have anything to ask your instructor, then you'll ask as a competitive question to others and let's see if they can answer. Students, when I ask for acknowledgement, you have to acknowledge. Please understand, even your videos are off. I really care whether you're following or not. Me asking again and again just extends the time of the session, right? Unnecessarily.
So yeah, I had a question. I actually don't know what changed in DGCA RTR and WPC RTR. So can you explain that?
DGCA RTR and WPC RTR, there is a session that will explain all this to you once you do your core lectures. But I'll explain in short. WPC RTR, first part of the exam was practical exam, where you had one examiner behind you. Similarly, 6 to 7 students in the same classroom with individual examiners, where they give you a question paper with all questions mentioned along with the flight plan, and you had a log sheet. You were connected with a headset without PTT with them, and they would act as ATC, and you would give your calls and you would write all calls the way we are practicing. On the same day, they would announce results of part 1 practical exam, and if you cleared, then they will ask you to wait for the part 2, which was a Viva round where you would have two examiners, one from WPC, one from DGC, asking you questions on both radio regulations and radio technical. DGCART has put the Viva part first and converted it into written exam, which is an MCQ exam of 50 marks, which is just an addition to other papers now. So it is just like a paper. We apply for air navigation meteorology, we apply for RT written exam. Just like meteorology and regulations, it's for 50 marks. Correction 50 questions. Passing is same 70. So you have to get at least 35 questions right. And once your results are declared, which you'll apply via Pariksha, August attempt has started, applications have started today. And after clearing, you will log into EGCA portal to apply for your practical exam. That practical exam will not require any writing of calls. More explanation will be given in the sessions, or you can see a mock, it will be similar to that. Dev, kindly acknowledge. Understood, not understood.
Affirm Victor Tango Alpha.
Be proactive, students. Come on. All this impacts. Sir, I have this doubt about QNH readout. For example, QNH 1000. Can I say QNH 1000 instead of QNH 1000? I would suggest with Q codes you stick to individual values. Okay, because it's not a part of the special preference given for whole hundreds and whole thousands for numbers. So QNH 1000. If somebody says 1000, then you confirm, say QNH 1000, confirm QNH 1000. You could try and verify like that. But while going through notes, students, if you come across a point where it explains it could be read out as 1000, then do share it with me. I'll share my thoughts. But Q codes, you stick to individual numbers. QNH 1000.
Also, Victor Tango
These
Victor.
are good, tricky questions, students. Ensure we remember them. Victor Tango Delta Papa Romeo, what do you think? QNH 1000 or QNH 1000?
According to the manual, it was 1000.
Very good. And what do you think? It's correct or not?
Yes, I think it is correct.
We have one more question. Severe turbulence caused. Okay, the question is due to severe turbulence caused height loss of 1000 feet. Is this a pan call or unable RVSM? Who can answer this call in their understanding? Due to severe turbulence, aircraft experiences a loss of altitude by 1000 feet. Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Delta is ready. Who else? Is this a pan call or enable RVSM? Dev, you will reach to those lectures, so you can skip answering this, no worries. Delta Papa Romeo, Sierra November India, Victor Victor Romeo. Thoughts? Adesh, please go ahead with your answer.
Sir, it is both. We will say pan, and R call sign, then ATC. Enable RVSM due sudden loss of altitude. Unable to maintain altitude, request non-RVSM flight level. Because if we are not able to maintain flight level in an RVSM airspace, it is a pan call. Victor
Okay.
Tango Alpha Alpha Delta.
Good thinking. You're thinking in the direction of your training. I will appreciate that. But I still don't think this would be the most appropriate call. But it is in the right direction. I also had the first thought it could be both. Shubhrish, you're saying pan. Can you just give me a rough call on it?
Pan. Mumbai control. Victor Tango, Sierra Number, India. Lost 1000 feet. So, yes, not getting the other part.
Students, severe turbulence, altitude loss can come under Mayday also. Okay, not just pan. 1000 feet loss, 5000 feet loss, 10,000 feet loss, anything could be experienced. 1000 feet loss, are you able to maintain the lower altitude? Is the aircraft in control? The call you take will depend upon that. If you had turbulence, you had a sudden drop of 1000 feet, it will be your effort to climb back to 1000 feet. And you would report the same to ATC. So we have to be very careful here. Enable RVSM means that we have systems that help us that are compulsory for RVSM flights which are non-operational. So automatic altitude holding device is one of them. So if my aircraft is not able to hold its altitude and if it's having either it cannot climb or it's just losing altitude, then definitely I have to request to get away from the RVSM airspace as well as try and regain my altitude. So here I cannot just, Adesh, you are on the right path, but then we think and think more than the sudden suggestions that our mind will give to think about everything. We have to think, okay, is this right or wrong? So if I say enable RVSM, give me non-RVSM flight level, then am I addressing the issue about altitude loss and turbulence? Is it gone? If it's gone, then I would just say experience turbulence, lost 1000 feet, request climb to aircraft able to climb to flight level 350 again. So you could talk about it and make it a normal call and just inform about your drop. So it doesn't
Radio 1, sir.
All stations, Mumbai Control, how do you read?
DD5, Victor Tango, Alpha, Alpha Delta.
PD5, Delta Tango, Sierra Nova India.
Zoom just
Video
crashed.
5, Victor Tango Alpha Alpha.
Radio
Okay.
5 Victor Tango Delta Papa.
Good. Okay, so Ruda, I was telling you, please discuss the situation further because it's your question. The way you describe the situation will come up with a final call or final solution for this particular situation.
So, instead of pan, need to give mayday.
Not necessarily. Severe turbulence, a lot of altitude loss will definitely be Mayday. I was just saying that there are multiple possibilities. We have to think it through.
Affirm, sir.
Ruday, are you following?
Affirm.
So please discuss, give me more information about your question, about what is happening, whether you are able to control the aircraft, whether you are able to maintain that. Like, have you just lost 1000 feet? That's it?
Yes, sir. Unable to climb to the flight level assigned.
Unable to climb to the flight level assigned. See, now we have more info. So this is what was needed. Now it makes sense. So if you think your assigned flight level, let's say, was flight level 350, and if you think that you have lost 1000 feet and right now you are at flight level 340, then, and if you are in an RVSM airspace, then you are actually on the reciprocal track. So that time you can raise a pan to say this: pan, Mumbai Control, I fly 123, due turbulence, lost altitude, flight level 340, unable to maintain flight level 350, request descend to flight level 330, and then give some more information, persons on board, endurance, and mention route. And you can just say, if it's a call that you've given after a long time, in real time, you can just say what you're doing, where you're going, from where to where. So you don't have to ask for non-RVSM flight level. Quickly just try and see if you can maintain flight level 330 at least and request for that. But if you're able to maintain 340 and you cannot go back to 350, then you request for 330 then. Odd to odd, even to even. If you sense that there's going to be more turbulence, then you will ask for weather deviation. So you could say, and then you don't have to say pan in this case. Even if you say pan, then that just to ensure that your RVSM reciprocal traffic issue doesn't happen. So you can say pan, or even if you don't say pan, it could be fine depending upon how you assess the situation. So if I have to say pan, I'll say pan, Mumbai Control, I fly 123, unable to maintain flight level 350 due turbulence, aircraft lost 1000 feet, flight level 340, request correction, would like to deviate to right and descend to flight level 330, request weather deviation. Something like that. Without pan also you can say Mumbai Control, I fly 123, unable to maintain flight level 350 due turbulence, lost 1000 feet, present flight level 340, request descend to flight level 330, or would like to deviate on left by 20 degrees and descend to flight level 330 due weather, request weather deviation. Because you are in RVSM airspace, you can ask for standard weather deviation also, which would like to deviate on right by 15 nautical miles. At 10 nautical miles, will descend to flight level 335, duration until clear of weather, request weather deviation. But one thing which I have kept constant in this call is that I cannot stay on flight level 340. I cannot go to 350. So I'm going to descend to a flight level which is different than flight level 340 right now. I would appreciate the connections made to fly enable RVSM, but it will not be an enable RVSM call. Good. Students, are we following? Any disputes? You want to try something on your own? I'm always happy when you say, sir, this is not right. I would like to do it this way or that way. It's always good to discuss. There could be variations. If you'll ask multiple pilots about the situation, they will try to relate it with their experiences and they'll give you answers which could be similar, which could be different, and yet similar in certain ways. Yes, Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Delta.
Sir, should we also request for, like, if we are requesting to descend at flight level 330, so should we also request airspace below that because we might not be able to maintain 330 also if we are not able to maintain 340?
If you cannot maintain, then you don't ask for 330. If your aircraft is still losing altitude, then it's a bigger issue. Aircraft losing altitude rapidly, it's a mayday call. So you have to first regain control and then ask for any deviations. So a pilot would see on weather radar what kind of airspace is free from disturbances and accordingly they'll take action. So deviation to right by 20 degrees and altitude based basically depends upon what they see. So they get help from the weather radar. In your exams, you just have to imagine it. So if you think you cannot maintain 330, then ask for flight level 310, ask for flight level 290.
Roger.
But
Victor Tango Alpha Delta.
but the nearest available flight level is always the safest that you can maintain. Always remember. Severe turbulence, I have one more question. If I just face severe turbulence, no altitude difference or loss, severe turbulence, then you will say, ask for weather deviation. Pilot report will happen later on. First, ask for deviation. And you just mentioned that experiencing severe turbulence, flight level, route, time, intensity, you have already said. So the report is already given, and at the same time, you ask for deviation also. Okay, let's listen to the last question. In the right of way part, when two aircrafts are concerned, the aircraft on the right will get right of way. But what if 3 or 4 aircraft towards same collision point from different directions? Then each of them will have some other aircraft on their right. Then who will get right of way? Let's imagine this situation. It's a good thing that something like this has never happened in recorded history of aviation. I'm not sure about unrecorded history. I hope everybody got the question. It's a very interesting question. Adesh, read it out once more for everyone to hear.
My question was, when
Don't
we
say was,
studied right
say
of,
is.
okay, my question is, when in right of way part, when two aircrafts are on same collision point, towards same collision point, the one on right gets right of way. But what if more than two, 3 or 4 aircrafts are towards the same point? Then if there are 4 aircrafts, then everyone will have at least one aircraft to their right. So who will get right of way?
Anybody wants to try and answer this tricky question?
So, if the aircraft has whichever aircraft is the smaller one, it could get, like if it's a glider or something. it could get the right of way.
That is good thinking, sticking by the book. Very good. Please end with your call signs. Remember,
Victor Tango, Sierra November, India.
Rudar, Dev, Vivan, Divija. Quick, quick, quick. Any inputs? Come on, in sequence of the name that I have called out. Rudar, Dev, Divija, Vivan. Say something, students. You're on mute.
No idea with the Tango Alpha Alpha. Alpha.
It's okay. Make a guess. रूल्स ऑफ द ईयर आपने स्टार्ट किया रीड करना, उसमें राइट ऑफ वे आया होगा, नहीं आया है तो वो आएगा, इट्स गोइंग टू कम. So Shabrish made a valid point which would be really helpful in group discussions also, that aircrafts that are lesser powered will get right of way. Towing aircrafts, lesser power aircrafts, etc. Smaller aircrafts will get right of way. But what about this situation? See, I've tried to make it in both dimension. On the same collision course means they are all on the same flight level.
There also maybe some are ascending or some are descending, but their point of collision is the same.
No, when you say the example that you have taken, it always talks about the same flight level. It doesn't talk about varying flight levels. Okay. So let's just quickly, students, please say something. I'm waiting. Delta Papa Romeo, Sierra November India, Victor Victor Romeo.
The TCAS will be accurate when we come closer and closer.
So when all aircraft are converging at a point, I don't think it's about the right of way. It's more about like seeing and avoiding collision. So we can like descend.
Yes, well said. Shabrish, can you say what you said again?
The TCAS warning will come when we are like RAOTA, when we are getting closer and closer. So we should proceed as per the TCAS RA. No,
Okay,
traffic
okay, very
advisory, yeah.
good. Okay. Vivan is saying it's less about right of way, more about um preventing collision, so we might change our altitude. Similar situation sometimes I give students in practice where we have our uh, runway ATC circuit and I'm on base leg and some aircraft is coming from this side unknowingly. Maybe they are following a wrong circuit. So what to do in that case? So you don't just turn right, aircraft head on, we turn right. But if you just turn right, then you would collide with another aircraft on finals because they will be maintaining or gradually decreasing the altitude or maintaining circuit altitude. So you just turn right and you also climb to certain altitude. Now here if we carefully see, if I will go right, if they will go right, if they will go right, and if they will go right. So everybody has a chance to avoid them all because they all are going away from each other. Because after some point in time, this aircraft will reach here. Okay. The red aircraft will reach here. And they are all in their opposite directions. So even if I stick to my right of way particular thing, each aircraft will be in a different direction if they can avoid collision. So they all will have to stick to right and follow that only. If they are in very closer proximity where they are, there is a chance that this collision could happen here, it would happen because this is not doing right turn, but they are doing right turn. So if everybody follows their rule, then they all will be safe just by sticking to the same rule. That is, if you have a head-on collision, then turn right. Because head-on for you right now, these two are head-on for each other, and these two are head-on for each other. So they both will follow their right, and chances are they will avoid. But like Vivan said and Sabri said, we will get TICAS also. So if you get TICAS, then TICAS will tell each aircraft what to do. You follow TICAS, they'll tell you climb, descend, right, left, you do that, and then come back to your clearance level. But here, turning right can protect everyone unless you are in such a great proximity that your momentum is so much that you're going to crash, like collide, then definitely you will take aversive actions, whatever you think is necessary on your own. So still, if you turn left and if green aircraft turns left and if red aircraft is following right, then there is a chance that they'll collide. So still, turning right would be the best option here for each aircraft. Adesh, makes sense?
Yes, sir. Affirm. Victor Tango Alpha Delta.
But it's an amazing question. Like, solution will come to such questions when we keep thinking and keep reading and aligning the rules, everything, students. It always makes sense. The reason aviation is safe is because of the rules that ICAO has made and the unity between all member nations or member states and the regulations that you as pilots follow. So that is a very good thing. Okay, great students. Uh, Students who are going to give written exam, there is a session in which I have discussed syllabus. If you have not gone through that session, then just let me know. I'll try to find the PDF, which is a part of the notice only issued for the new RT exam pattern in which the syllabus is mentioned in singular lines. It's always good to check civil aviation requirements if any new syllabus has been updated for RT along with other syllabus. So I think I checked it a couple of days ago and it mentioned that refer to that notice. But I'll check for you all once. So check with me end of the day today and tomorrow. And if you have not gone through the lecture, then at least let me know that, sir, no, I don't think I've gone through that particular lecture where you have discussed syllabus. So maybe I'll just share that session and you can go through it. So you can make note that, okay, whatever I'm reading and studying is everything from this list covered. The list is very generic, it's not detailed. So if anything we think we can still read and study, then I'll advise you to go and read that to be better prepared. But one feedback I've gotten from written exam students is that whatever we have studied, whatever documents we have, doing that is enough to clear the exam. So we need not worry, but let's be prepared. Vivan, I have given you instructions to which exam to apply for. Please think about it. Instead of going for many, I would suggest you go for two and start with final revisions because we only have a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir.
So that would be better, and we clear both, and then within a month's time max, you should be able to give both exams. 45 days at least. Give yourself that time. So that's what I'm thinking. Pariksha is acting very slow, the website. So sit on a session and go with it until it's completed. It could take couple of hours also if the website is slow.
Sir, at least 2.5 hours, not less than that.
Adesh experienced 2.5 hours, yes. Any questions, any doubts? Please don't take anything for granted, thinking, oh, I didn't study much or much was not spoken. We have had any and all discussions which are really very uh, strength inducing, I would say, if you realize what is happening. And especially students who are being a part of live sessions, please acknowledge, be proactive, so that we can save at least 10-15 minutes time of me trying to wake you up again and again. Okay, I just cannot work without acknowledgements. Uh, so please do that. Okay, good job, everyone. We'll end this session now. And about practical exam or practical mock, Shabrish, Ruder, and Divija, I'll be texting you. Others, you can go back to your assigned tasks. I'm not sure if time is going to permit to have a mock right now. If yes, then I'll update you all and we'll do it. Adesh, Vivan, Dev, don't worry about missing or attending that practical. You go ahead with your lectures and prepare as per your exam. For you to attend next mock, mostly I'll invite you for tomorrow's mock that will happen so that you can observe one mock before you go for your written exam. Vivan has already seen, Adesh you might not have seen, and Dev you might not have seen. So that is the instruction. Is it clear, students?
A from Victor Tango, Alpha Alpha.
Shabrish, Rudar,
From
Devija,
Victor Tango
following?
Alpha Alpha Delta.
From Victor Tango Sierra Number India.
Great. So I'll just message you all individually, 3 students. Okay, rest go back to your studies as and how it's convenient for you. And if you have any more questions, then drop me a message on chat, WhatsApp chat that we are using. And if you faced any difficulties or didn't like anything about the session or like something, then give me a feedback. Today is Tuesday. So Divija, definitely you are going to give me a mock. And Ruder, your first practice mock, understand, I'll be taking it slow, so I'll be giving you for 15 minutes. Shabrish, you'll be giving me an entire mock. Okay? All right, students, thank you so much. And I'll see you tomorrow. Consider same timings unless you get a notice discussing different timings. Okay? Y'all can leave. I'll stay here for some time. Okay?